Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Vicky's Transsexual Journey. I decided to try and do an episode today on the reasons why we are transsexual or transgender, and the fact that gender is not a choice, and nor is gender binary. Gender is in fact a spectrum. It's not black and white, it's not just male and female, but an entire spectrum. Now, I chose to say the words that gender is not a choice just because of the things that have been said to myself. Comments like, oh well, it's a difficult life you've chosen for yourself. Well, I didn't choose to be transsexual any more than anybody else gets to choose their gender. Now, I've even had individuals within our National Health Service say that to me, and I thought, well, that's not really, I couldn't get my head around that. I thought they'd be more knowledgeable about gender issues, granted the amount of trans individuals there are out there. And I say the amount of people, to give you some figures there, about 1 in 50 people identify as trans. So if you're a doctor and 1 in 50 of the people that you encountered identified as a different gender, you'd think there would be more knowledge out there. Another way of saying 1 in 50 is 2%. Now, 2% doesn't sound like a massive number, but to look at things on a larger scale, the current world population, as best as I could find out, is roughly 7,800,000,000 and more. Now, that's a massive figure. 2% of that would be equivalent to a population greater than Russia's. So if all the trans individuals in the world populated just one country, that country would have a population greater than Russia. It would in fact be the 9th largest country in the world. So that gives you some sort of idea of the scale of things. Now, go back to the reasons for people being transgender or identifying differently. Well, for me, I would say it's neurological. And that's my own personal individual case. Now, your body develops at different points during a woman's pregnancy. It can be due to the amount of different hormones you receive at different times, but basically your brain develops at a different time to the rest of your body. Now, I focus on the brain because, well, recent studies, so I'll link to a 2018 study below, have shown that brain scans of trans individuals match better to their identifying gender than their birth gender. So the brain scan for a transsexual woman would match a lot closer to the brain scan of a genetic female than it would a genetic male. And that match is both in construction, so how the brain has formed, and in function, in terms of how we use those brains, those brain patterns. And that's, to me, quite a big deal. It shows a distinct difference there. We can also look at recent studies in autoimmune disease. Now, autoimmune diseases have a disproportionate effect on women than they do to men. 75% of cases are found in women, only 25% in men. So, rough figures. That disproportionate representation carries across to transsexual women as well, and has actually led to some breakthroughs in the treatment of autoimmune diseases, knowing that sex hormones must have an effect on those diseases, hence why it is so misrepresented, but also shows that transsexual individuals carry those same sex hormones as their identifying genders. Now, to look at other things as well, let's look at chromosomes. So we're taught at an early age or in high schools that males are XX and females are XY. Those are the two chromosome sets, you're one or the other. And this isn't always the case either. Now, I'm going to link to a video below that explains all this far better than I can. I just wanted to use this as an opportunity to get that information out there. So they're going to look at things like Klinefelter syndrome. Klinefelter's presents in males that are born with an extra X chromosome. So rather than being XY, they are XXY. There is Turner syndrome. Turner syndrome presents in females that are born with only one sex chromosome. So rather than being XX, they're just X, just one. There is mosaic syndrome. This is, to my understanding, a version of Down syndrome where they carry an extra chromosome, but rather than carry that extra chromosome in every cell, you only carry it in some cells. So each cell in the body is not guaranteed to have the same chromosome makeup. There's also chimera. A chimera is a distinct second set of DNA in an individual, and this can affect humans also. There are individuals that carry a complete second set of DNA within their cells. So I shall link to that video before. It's from SciShow, which is one of my favourite YouTube channels, and hopefully you can get a lot of information out of that, and it will explain it far better than I can. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Hopefully I'll post a bit more often as I start developing more along my journey. But in the meantime, I'll see you soon.